Hi, everybody. It's Amy Caroline again. It's Amy Caroline. Welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to my channel. So, it is time for more ghost train stories to let you guys put on the travel channel. This book the, this book is the story that I'll be reading. I will tell you guys about in a few minutes. But first, this book is written by Tony Reevy. This book is retold and written by Tony Reevy, and he's the one that wrote this book. So the story that I'll be telling you guys is called Johnny Marsden's Light. Okay. And it takes place in Argentia and Brinkley, Arkansas. And it takes place back in 1907. It takes place in Brinkley, Arkansas, and between Argentia and Brinkley, Arkansas. Okay, all right. So, without further ado, Johnny Marsden's Light. Here we go, folks. Like the Concord Light in Charlotte, North Carolina, the reappearance of Johnny Marsden's lantern is directly linked to a railroad tragedy. One morning in the fall of 1907, a local freight train was making the run between Argentia and Brinkley, Arkansas. On the Rock Line Island, on the old Rock Island line, Johnny Marsden, a brakeman working the run, was walking over the car tops towards the head of the train. As it ran along, Marsden slipped and fell and was killed as the wheels of the local ran over him. Several days later, the head end brakeman who had been working the run with Marsden was flagging trains down at a place called Lawn Oak. He had just stopped a passenger train and was talking with its crew. Suddenly a light appeared down the tracks, moving towards the men from the village of Care, Arkansas. Both of the trains were to meet an opposing train in Care. The brakeman assumed the light was a lantern held by a brakeman. Walking towards him, he walked towards the lantern, intending to meet the other brakeman halfway. When the brakie got within about a quarter mile of the lantern light, however, he saw it turn off the tracks, moving down the hillside and vanish. The brakeman was frightened by the light's strange behavior. He investigated the spot where the light had disappeared to, but didn't find another brakeman or lantern. He returned to his former spot and found that all the passenger train's crew had also seen the lantern vanish. None of the men could account the lights for the light's strange disappearance. When the two when the two trains finally met the imposing train in care, the brakeman asked if anyone on that train had walked towards him with the lantern. It turned out no one had. The mystery of the vanishing lantern was never solved. Some of the train crews believed that the light was Johnny Marsden's ghost holding his lantern as he tried to get to his train one more time. So apparently Johnny Marsden Johnny Marsden, a brakeman, was working the run, was walking over the car tops towards the head of the train as it ran along. Johnny slipped, and then after that, Johnny slipped, fell, and was killed as the wheels of the loco ran over him. So that's what happened. And the mystery of the lantern, the legend says his ghost appeared, and they couldn't make out the light strange appear. They couldn't, they couldn't, none of the men or the train crew members could account for the light strange appearance. And so the mystery of the vanishing lantern was never solved. But as it was, and as I said before, some of the train crews believed that it was Johnny Marsden's ghost holding his lantern as he tried to get to his train one more time. They believe it was him. So that is what has to happen in the episode, in another episode of Ghost Train on the Travel Channel, okay? All right? So I'm going to do my example. I'm going to do my example from haunted hotels, and it will give you an example of how of what Ghost Train
sometimes the most elegant
also
the most trouble.
And it will give you an example of what Ghost Train has to look like on the Travel Channel when you guys put it on there. Okay? All right? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Now I'm going to show you guys an example from from the previous TV show, Haunted Hotels, and it will give you an idea of what Ghost Train has to look like on the Travel Channel. And for those of you who work for the Travel Channel Company and the Warner Brothers Company and the Travel Channel Company, I'm going to show this to you guys, and it will give you an example of what Ghost Train has to look like on the Travel Channel when you guys put it on there, okay? Okay? All right? So please enjoy this, everybody. Please enjoy this.
For a hard day's travel, A charming inn can be just the place for a good night's rest. But there are some hotels that offer much more than meets the eye. In California's Gold Rush country, the ghost of a murdering gambler plays on at an historic hotel.
Your arms go cold and goosebumpy and your hair stand up.
In the American South, an horrific night in a cemetery keeps a young spirit from ever resting in peace.
You lose your breath and try to scream, but nothing comes out.
And in an English coaching inn, not even death can keep a murderous spectre at bay.
He had got his revenge back. And the dead can do things like that.
Travel into a world of phantoms, where the past reaches into the present, and lost souls roam free. Sometimes the most elegant hotels are also the most troubled. Filled with lonely spectres searching for peace, haunted by history. Rice Hope Plantation Inn rests on America's southeast coast, just an hour's drive from the city of Charleston, South Carolina. This 18th century Federalist mansion by the Cooper River welcomes guests and, some say, ghosts.
It's the ghost, it's the girl. Don't you see that? And her whole face went white and she was staring.
The sense of history here goes far beyond the inn.
You come up to these gates and you look through them and there are these huge 400-year-old live oak trees that are full of Spanish moss, and this incredible eerie feeling comes over you.
As innkeeper Lou Edens explains, part of that feeling may also come from the story of a young girl named Catherine.
Catherine's grandparents lived on this side of Rice Hope Plantation.
After her sea captain father was lost in a shipwreck, Catherine and her mother moved back to the old family home, Rice Hope Plantation.
She led an idyllic life here. She was the center of attention, and at that time Rice Hope was over 1,700 acres.
Catherine loved the outdoors. There were trees to climb, swings to ride, and the Cooper River was full of surprises.
Catherine looked to nature for a lot of entertainment and by capturing little creatures.
Catherine caught a turtle and kept it as a pet. She could have no idea that she and her new friend would soon leave Rice Hope. Her mother was to marry a man in a distant town, and he had no interest in raising another man's child. Catherine was sent to board at the nearby school under the supervision of the schoolmaster, Mr. Dutarque, a former plantation overseer whose mere presence terrified young children. Catherine quickly became homesick, and she was unable to pay attention in school. The callous schoolmaster had no patience with Catherine's daydreaming, and punished her by forcing her to stay inside and sew. Spending the day confined indoors was a fate worse than death for Catherine. She looked to a familiar friend for comfort.
Catherine was supposed to be sewing, but instead she decided she would go outside and play with her little pet turtle.
She tried to slip away unnoticed, but she had left a clue behind.
She dropped the fabric that she's supposed to be sewing.
Mr. Dutargue realized Catherine was gone and set out after her. He found the lost fabric and followed Catherine's trail to the river's edge. The startled girl tried to explain.
She told him that she only wanted to be outside, and he went into something of a rage, shouting, "If outside is what you want, outside is what you shall have." He took her into the cemetery and lashed her onto a tombstone.
The punishment that awaited Catherine was far worse than a day without fresh air. Long ago, a young girl named Catherine reveled in her life at Rice Hope Plantation. But that joy swiftly ended after she was sent to boarding school. There, she looked for solace in the natural world, but found instead her schoolmaster, Mr. Dutargue, determined to teach her a lesson. In a fury, he lashed her to a tombstone in the graveyard.
You wanted to be outside? Now you'll be outside!
The schoolmaster left, and Catherine was alone in the cemetery. Soon, night began to fall.
She knew about the creatures of the night, the bobcats. There were even bears in the Carolinas then.
What came next would make her nightmare complete. From the darkened woods, a glowing, angry face began to make its way toward her. Catherine fainted. But then, a human figure stepped from the darkness. It was not a spectre, but a slave carrying a jack-o'-lantern to light his way and to frighten off those who might report him for being out at night. As the man came across Catherine's limp body, he was shocked by what he saw. He ran for help, and Catherine was saved. But she would never find happiness again. The night in the graveyard changed her forever, and the carefree child grew into a suspicious, reclusive adult. Catherine finally died of old age. But some at the inn say she has come home again.
When I'm walking, especially upstairs down that long hall, I feel like there's somebody behind me. It's like I'm not alone.
And guests who stayed in Catherine's old room report they sometimes receive an unexpected visitor.
They had a small carry-on suitcase sitting on a stool and a few books on the same stand as the TV. Right at midnight, the books were literally thrown off of the TV stand, and the suitcase that was sitting on the stool was dumped upside down on the floor.
Perhaps Catherine's apparition was not happy about sharing the room. Or was she trying to send another message? No one can be certain. But she appears to have strong ideas about how her old home should be kept.
Guests kept talking about the door being open. And I would realize, I had closed the door. I'd even locked the door, and they'd say the door was open. So I put a door closer on it. One day I looked, and the door closer screws had been pulled out of the door facing.
Staff members believe Catherine's wishes that day came across loud and clear.
It's a message to me not to close that door. She wants to go outside in her will.
Though it would seem Catherine's spirit travels in a world without barriers, Perhaps a locked door is a troubling reminder of the night she was held against her will. Former Rice Hope innkeeper Doris Kasprak has seen firsthand what an apparent encounter with this spectre can do.
My daughter all of a sudden turned and stared at the back porch. Her whole face went white and she was staring. It's the ghost, it's the girl. She's going up the back steps and she just went into the door. And I get goosebumps even right now just thinking about that one.
On the grounds, on the stairs, in the house, Catherine's spirit is thought to wander every corner of the plantation. The silence of the night is sometimes broken by her footsteps echoing down the halls. And guests lie awake as she passes by their doors.
She had this glow all around her and she just flowed. She didn't walk or fly. It was definitely like a flowing.
On nights when the full moon shines, some guests at Rice Hope are met with a haunting sight. It has been over 300 years since young Catherine lived so carefree. Now, she may be making up for lost time.
She's still trying to live that normal life, that carefree life that she would have led had she not had such a traumatic incident when she was 7 years old.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there. I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there. Did you see did you guys did you guys see of how the apparitions and the spirit of Catherine's ghost and the ghost appear on the screen? Did you see of how the ghost and the apparitions appeared on the screen and the story going back in time to the old days and stuff like that? Did you see that? Yeah. Ghost Train has to do that. Okay. All right. Ghost Train has to do that. And that's what Johnny Marsden's Light has to do. And the story has to go back in time to 1907, to 1907, and Johnny Marsden, a brakeman working the run, was walking over the car tops towards the head of the train as it ran along the track, and Marsden slipped and fell and was killed as the wheels of the local ran over him. So that's what has to happen in the episode of Ghost Train, okay? Whenever you guys, those of you out there who work for the Travel Channel Company, and those of you who work for the Warner Brothers Company too, that is what you guys have to that is what you guys have to put on the Travel Channel, okay? All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and I'll be back tomorrow for more Ghost Train stories for you guys, and more Ghost Train legends for you guys and stuff like that. And like I said, this book is written by Tony Reevy, okay? This book is written by Tony Reevy, okay? Okay? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Give this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And ring the bell. And I will see you guys tomorrow for some more Ghost Train legends and Ghost Train stories, okay? Okay, bye, everybody. Bye.